Join us today as we kick off a new top 10 series, really a top 50. We're going to, over the next 5 episodes, give you 10 of these from the bottom up, the best science fiction adaptations that come from literature. You probably don't even realize some of these were from books and such.
Hi there, and welcome to Science Fiction for the Ages, the show where father and son sit down and talk about science fiction. I'm the son of that equation, Zach.
I'm the father, and no, this is still fantasy for the ages, but maybe we should have made up a better name, because we love science fiction too, and we talk about fantasy, sci-fi, horror, all sorts of nerdy things that we enjoy on this channel. But, fantasy for the ages just kind of rolled off the tongue better. But today, yes, we're talking science fiction. And we're starting to reveal our top 50 adaptations of great science fiction content that was brought to the screen. I've done a lot more fantasy than science fiction. So I'll admit, as we reveal this list here, nearly all of them I have not read the source content.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, a few of these, as I was compiling the list, I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, that one's also from literature. I mean, there were some of them I didn't realize had source material. They just weren't created as a movie.
Now, I will say I have not seen this list yet. I'm excited to see it along with all of you and heckle it along with all of you. But without seeing it, I have to go. I feel like I will have read at least 10 out of 50. Like, I feel like that's a fair number.
We'll see. I've read some of them, and I'll mention it as we go through. If I've read the source material, you should as well. But also, just to clarify, as we work up from the bottom, so 50 all the way up to 41 today, this is not my ranking of how much I like the movies. I'm trying to be objective here, look at various factors as to the quality of this movie, this show. They're not all movies. Some of them are television series. Where do they fall as the best of the top 50? Now, the ones that are near the top of the list, yeah, I love them. But I would shift the order just a little bit if it was just my preference. I am being a bigger man than that for you and giving you some objectivity. Zach can be whatever he wants and rip on the order as he
I will
so
be
desires.
a smaller man than my father. Got it.
So, for example, let's get started here now. Number 50, I would put higher if it was just based on my preference. But this is where it falls on my list. V for Vendetta, the 2005 film. This is adapted from a comic series, V for Vendetta by Alan Moore and David Lloyd. In a dystopian future, a masked vigilante named V fights against I can't say the word,
a totalitarian.
Thank you. It just would not come out. A totalitarian government. I write the words and I can't get them out of my mouth. This movie is great with its exploration of rebellion, freedom, and authoritarianism. And it's visually striking, politically resonant, still has application today. Thoughts?
This movie is overrated.
Well, I put it all the way down at 50.
Yeah, no, some people ride or die with this movie, and I'm like, it did some things. It did some things a little too pretentiously. Like it thinks too much of itself at times. I think it's an okay movie.
Hugo Weaving is great in this movie, though.
But I'm glad that it's only hitting the 50 slot as far as adaptations go. It's not my favorite.
I've watched it a couple of times. I enjoy this film.
I do enjoy it. I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
Okay. Number 49 is one I want to go watch again now. The Mist, 2007. Adapted from The Mist by Stephen King. We've got a group of people trapped in a supermarket trying to survive when this mysterious mist filled with deadly creatures envelops their town. The film's psychological tension and devastating ending elevated above typical creature features. It is definitely an adaptation. The ending is strikingly different than the book. But I really enjoy this movie.
Big thing. I am familiar with this one in part because of how different it is from the books. And it's one of those great examples to me of how the closer of an adaptation it is, if the work is Stephen King, it's the wrong thing to do. He is on record of not liking the adaptations that make changes and do these things as well, and those are also the better movies that are more successful.
Okay. The Mist is one of the ones, by the way, I have read the source material. I mean, come on, Stephen King. I get into his stuff, especially the older stuff. This one isn't as old, but it's still very good. Number 48. Not my typical type of thing to watch. Alita, Battle Angel, 2019.
I like this one.
Yeah, adapted from Battle Angel Alita by Yukito Kishiro. This has a cyborg with no memory of her past, seeking her identity while fighting in a dystopian future. Film's got dazzling special effects,
Very
great action
cyberpunk-y.
sequences. It brings the cyberpunk world of manga to life. Manga. Sorry. Wow, that came out wrong. I used to always say manga. I'm sorry.
Did you
I
really?
know it's manga. I know.
You know what's the funny thing? I think both ways you're saying is I think it's manga, but
No, really? Manga?
yeah.
See,
Point
this is
is,
not in my lane, but
manga,
good movie.
Weird. Okay, that's
Manja.
I didn't know that about you.
Really?
I
You say
learn new things
manga?
every day. Yeah,
Not manga?
yeah.
Oh, crap. I don't know what to do here now. Anyways, you like this film?
No, I like this. I didn't know you'd seen this actually.
You know?
It's a
I'm
little bit
eclectic.
different, a little quirky in some of it, but actually has some deep depth to it. I think this is one of those hidden gem movies of I don't know how many people actually have seen it, but I enjoyed it.
I can guarantee I haven't read the source material. I don't do a lot of manga. Did I say
There
it
you
right?
go. Yeah.
Okay. Phew. Have you? Because I know you
haven't.
do like manga.
No, I haven't read this one.
Okay. Number 47, The Road. 2009 adaptation of The Road by Cormac McCarthy, which is like the favorite book for some people. So risky to make an adaptation, but this one was pretty good. A father and son journey through a post-apocalyptic landscape, struggling to survive and retain their humanity. Its stark, emotional portrayal of survival and paternal love in a dying world is profoundly moving. There's some real gravitas to this movie.
I've stayed away from the source material on this one, mostly because I worry about whether or not I will actually connect with it. It seems like you either love it or you think it really, really drags.
I get that. Had you seen that movie?
No.
Okay. Well, you might check out the movie.
The movie's probably going to be a better way for me to consume that.
Right.
Exactly. If it does drag, it's a couple hours.
Number 46, Never Let Me Go. The 2010 film adapted from Never Let Me Go by Kazuo Ishiguro. I don't know how to say some of these Japanese names. This one, not a lot of people have heard of. Clones.
I don't think I have.
Clones raised for organ harvesting.
Yeah.
Come to terms with their fates and the meaning of their short lives. The film's understated sci-fi elements underscore a deep emotional narrative about life, love, and loss. It's got some worthiness there.
The description of that makes me think of a movie that's coming out not too long from now that I'm excited to see, but I know I've never heard of this.
Okay. Well, it's on my top 50, so it's something for you to check out now. Number 45, The Omega Man. This is all the way back 1971.
Yeah,
it's an excellent adaptation of I Am Legend by Richard Matheson.
Oh.
Now, there's a much newer adaptation of that, but The Omega Man. In a post-apocalyptic world, in this movie, the last man on Earth fights off mutant survivors. It explores isolation and survival in a desolate world. It's a poignant film. It's really well done.
I don't think I knew that this had an adaptation that old.
Yep. Everybody's thinking of Will Smith these days. No,
correct.
Go find The Omega Man. Number 44. One that would definitely be higher if it was just my preference. World War Z. 2013 adaptation. Very, very loose adaptation. World War Z by Max Brooks. Now, I did go back and rewatch this recently, and I loved it. I loved the book more, but the movie's actually quite entertaining. A former UN investigator travels the globe trying to stop a zombie pandemic which is threatening humanity. The global scope of the zombie outbreak and the film's focus on problem solving give the zombie genre a boost. Some think this is like, yes, made it, main screen and stuff. Okay, that's overrated, but it's not a very realistic movie. The way it just sends him all over the place. We kind of get loosey-goosey with time and all that, but it's still a lot of fun to watch. I enjoy this adaptation.
This movie does so much better as just a movie than it does an adaptation. Because having read the source material on this one, it is so good, but so different.
Yes.
That it's like these two things are not the same thing. It is a take on the world that we see in World War Z and a separate story being told through that. It is not anything about the book beyond the world.
This is the key point to clarify. This is not ranked by how great an adaptation of the source material it is, because this would be like number 5,012.
It's not very truthful.
But just as a good movie, 44. Number 43, The Stepford Wives, 1975 adaptation of The Stepford Wives by Ira Levin. In this film, a woman discovers that the seemingly perfect wives in her new neighborhood are actually mind-controlled robots. The film offers a chilling critique of gender roles and conformity in a patriarchal society. People these days, if they find this film for the first time and watch it, I wonder what they think of it. I watched it years ago. I really appreciate the movie, but how relevant is it now? Maybe even more relevant.
Yeah, I think that the take is not necessarily. I think it is a relevant movie. I wonder if a newer adaptation playing on some different things here and there might actually even be more beneficial. Maybe it's time this one gets something new.
Perhaps. Number 42, Gattaca, 1997, which is very loosely adapted from the adaptation of genetic engineering. It's more like it was inspired by that.
Yeah, I was like, what do you mean totally this is I didn't know this was an adaptation.
Exactly, because it barely is, but there is source material.
I quite enjoy this movie.
Yeah, great. In a future society driven by genetic perfection, a man born naturally tries to achieve his dream of space travel. A powerful exploration of identity, free will, and societal expectations with a sleek and hauntingly beautiful aesthetic. I mean, the way they put this on the screen is just fantastic.
From an ethical standpoint, I think this movie should actually be required watching for a lot of science majors in a variety of fields, especially since the advent of CRISPR and the implications that we can get to and are becoming more and more readily available.
Our last one for today, for this first edition of the list, is a great movie that I think a lot of people do not realize is also adapted from something. Edge of Tomorrow, 2014. It's adapted from All You Need Is Kill by Hiroshi Sakurazaka. I think I got it. Sakurazaka.
Okay.
A soldier caught in a time loop, Tom Cruise in the movie, must repeatedly die and relive the same battle against alien invaders. There is a purpose to it that he just knows he's trapped in a time loop. The film's clever use of time loops and exhilarating action scenes create a fresh take on the alien invasion genre.
I enjoy the movie. Love Emily Blunt. I think this movie suffers from having Tom Cruise in it. Hear me out. Not because he's bad, but because it just gets lost as another Tom Cruise action movie rather than getting highlighted for the cool time traveliness that it is.
Okay. It's a great story, and I've featured it on other top 10 lists. I enjoy Edge of Tomorrow. But that's where we'll leave it today. I do think you had valid points with Tom Cruise there, but he's still good. He's still good in this movie. That's where we'll leave you. If you enjoyed this, again, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out when we come out with the next 4 episodes, and find out where your favorite movie adaptations from the sci-fi genre, movies and TV series, where do they fall on the list? especially if they weren't on this part.
Yeah.
You're like,
I hope mine makes the list.
so get your popcorn and watch what comes next. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.